Who else would it be? This is a special edition rant. I don't know if I'm gonna put this on Twitter, YouTube, both. I don't really care. Um, we're gonna get into this because there's a lot of things that have happened in regards to the price action. I'm not normally this kind of person to kind of illustrate these things, but there's a big catalyst of a few different things going on, not just me as a trader, but also someone who has had their formal education in things like journalism and communication and English and research, things like that. There is a lot of shady stuff going on right now, and I am going to bring it to attention. I am not going to stop talking about this. I think that at first this was something that I'm just pissed about because this has happened in the past. This has happened for years, but I was originally upset because of a Coin Center article yesterday, causing a lot of exaggerated drama about the $10,000, you know, crypto transaction thing, report to the IRS, or you're going to get a felony and you're going to go to jail and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Like fear mongering to the extreme, pieces of garbage people that are just trying to scare you out of the markets. Everybody's trying to sell, everything like that. And so, like, it, I'm really tired of that. Okay. So I was already pissed about that. Okay, for various things because the person in particular, and I'll get into these separately, but they there's a process, right? They try to create strife, they try to create a hot take, they try to be there before everybody else, and they try to make it to where other people get hooked on it. And so now you have articles that are referencing this lie. It's a lie, okay? And they're trying to reference these things to scare you. And now they're the top hit on Google. CoinDesk is referencing them. Everybody's doing this, okay? Some people are being honest about how they report this particular person from Coin Center. He's the executive director. So he knows better. He should know better. And the problem is he doesn't, okay? He's a piece of garbage that knows what he's doing, knows that he's lying and fearing the general public. He knows he's trying to scare you. He knows, they know, all of them know. Okay? And so I was already mad about that from yesterday. Then I wake up today, notice that some of my positions are down 30%. 30%. And there's nothing particularly that went on. Now, most of those have recovered, so that's good. And I didn't really lose that much. I think I only lost maybe 5 or 6%, so not much. I've lost way more on less days, or or whatever. So I can be grateful for that. That being said, I know people that have lost a lot of money off of this stupid article that came out today referencing this maxi pad piece of garbage guy too, or whatever the heck their freaking name is. Okay, Matrixport, whatever. Not a project that nobody's heard of. Nobody. Okay, I've been here for 7 years. I know people that have been here longer than me. I know handfuls. Uh, I know at least 50 people that have been here longer than me, and nobody has heard of these people. Okay, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but then the block, which is already a piece of crap company too, picks them up and words it in a way that says the SEC has rejected the ETF approval or whatever. They write it. We'll get into all of this, okay? They write it in a way to where it's like, all right, it's already rejected. First of all, how does some random idiot know before the entire government of the United States, before everybody else? Okay, it's fishy, it's shady, and there's probably a deal under the desk. Would not be surprised. I've seen it done before. I've worked for a crypto news site. I've worked for news sites in general. I know how they work. They are the lowest of the low. Okay, they don't get paid what you think they get paid. They make you work 20 hours a week, but 24/7 on call always. Expect you to, whenever there's something that, and I understand that you need to be there first or hot. I understand hot takes. Hot takes don't have to be bad. That's the thing. You know, it's just like my take on movies. Like, You don't need to have graphic violence or foul language or graphic nudity to make a strong theme movie related to things like romance or violence or whatever. Now, sometimes they are, I'm not saying they can't be included necessarily, but there's a way to prose that, like prose, in a way that makes sense. That's one reason why I like Lord of the Rings so much. It shares things eloquently. It shares very graphic themes about an absolute evil that they're trying to abolish. And there's not a single bad word in the movie. There's not a single nude scene. Things can be kind of violent, but also in a way where it's presented gently and it makes sense in the context of the film. Okay, and so that should be the nature of how we do journalism and reporting, but obviously nobody does because you want that hot take. You want the scoop. You want people to react because that gets you engagement, that gets you likes, that gets you apparently credibility, but it doesn't give you anything. The markets have changed, not just the trading markets, but like society has changed. Nobody is falling for this anymore. People want honesty, they want sincerity. Like, don't report this crap, okay? And what they reported wasn't even news. It wasn't even news. So why is a news site posting things that aren't news? They know what they are doing. The block knows they are trying to post to scare you, to scare the markets, and now the market is down 10% because they wanted to take a hot take. And I can tell you right now, they don't care. You can spam message them, you can call them out, they won't care. Okay? The block has routinely been one of the bottom barrel publications for years. Okay? They are a little bit reputable in a sense that they have a recognizable name. There are a very, very, very low B tier, in my opinion, as far as branding, but as far as what they report, it's freaking F tier for failure. Okay. And I think I'm going to start reviewing some of these news sites and start rating them my own grades and focusing on that because you guys deserve better. It pisses me off so bad when I wake up, not even the fact that I'm down. I don't really care. Okay. I had three open trades, they all got liquidated. Okay. No big deal. It happens. I wasn't over leveraged, and some of my spot positions are down, but that's expected, right? I knew something like this could happen. I didn't think it would, but I'm also prepared. A lot of those positions are like Solana at $19. Okay, I'm way above the zone for that. So I'm not even really. I'm honestly not mad that I lost money. I didn't lose that much, honestly. I've lost more. Like I said, I've lost more on random days, honestly. But what pisses me off is you got bystanders and some people that I'm even trying to help or even trying to educate. When I see people online that are losing money, and again, they could be irresponsible. I don't know. That's not for me to say. Okay. But when you got these pieces of garbage posting news just because they feel like it, and then somebody tells me that they lost six months worth of their trading, I'm pissed. Okay. And I've been pissed about this yesterday with the Coin Center crap because you got people like Jerry Burrito or whatever the heck his name is scaring people that say, "Oh, you better get out of crypto because if you handled more than $10,000, the IRS is going to lock you up in jail." Okay, first of all, the IRS doesn't enforce. Second of all, it's quite exaggerated. Third of all, it applies only for really trades or businesses, not directly individuals. It does, but it doesn't. And then it also doesn't affect, like, if I have a client, and I have clients where they give me more than $10,000 a year, but it's in monthly increments. And so that is not a transaction that we work on a month to month basis. And so that does not qualify. But this guy is telling me that it is. Okay. And it may still, I don't know, things could change. Talk to your CPA. I'm not a CPA. I still need to talk to a CPA. Okay. To make sure. But what I am trying to say is that it's fear mongering engagement clickbait designed to get you to have your chains rattled, to be scared, to be running. For what? I am sick of the games. I am sick of the fear. I'm sick of the running around. Why can't we just help one another? Okay? And I'm really sick of it. Really, really am. Okay? And it's to the point, yes, I know that there's going to be sin in the world. I know there's going to be really crap human beings. And I know that there's going to be crappy journalists that are getting paid under the table. And so I understand all that. But that doesn't mean that we can't just fight this, okay? I'm tired of tolerating this. And so I'm going to just start calling these people out. It's past time, excuse me. The time for tolerance is gone. Okay? We need to have discussions about this. We need to start calling them out. I'm going to lead this charge. If I got to make a new site or whatever, I'll do it. Okay? Because I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to sit by and just let these stupid idiots just run the show like this. Okay? They knew what they were doing. They know people are tied up with the emotions. This is also why I don't follow news, by the way. This is probably one of the bigger reasons that I don't talk about on why I don't follow the news, because they can make up anything. Okay, this is and I know a lot of people that do trade based off of the news. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying like this is my personal take. I stopped paying attention to Jerome Powell and all these rate hikes and all these intricate things of all the things I need to read, know, and watch and blah 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 blah, because the markets will kind of give me what I need to know. And this is one of the few instances where the markets didn't really say this offhand. I see people online too, like traders, and I even unfollowed what I thought was a decent trader, not a big trader, but just one that I had prospects that I thought he was good, and he's a phony. Um, Saying like, "Oh, he predicted this." No, you didn't. You did not predict this. Okay, you got lucky. You called a short when you got lucky with it. Okay, the markets did not give us any indication that this was true. Bitcoin just broke literally to a new local high. Ethereum was in a bullish channel. Solana was showing some weakness, but it was still relatively healthy. Most of these coins were looking still fresh. Most of these coins didn't really have divergences anymore. Okay, I even mentioned yesterday. The reason I feel bad myself is because yesterday we actually got a bullish flip on the ARN. One of the first times that we got a flip in a while. And I was like, okay, we're back in business. Nope, now we're not. Now it crossed bearish, and now we're back. Now we're backwards. We're backwards. And so the market's still doing okay right now, but now the market's going to get restructured. We lost the highs unless we can recover, unless Bitcoin closes at maybe like 2% minus, then we might be okay. We'll see how that goes. We still have 5.5 hours left. But I primarily want to talk about these people. I'm just going to kind of go through all of this. I'm going to go through several different news bites, all the counterclaims and all that. I'm going to share my take. And then I'm also going to share what I'm probably going to be doing. I might just do a weekly video or a weekly post thread or whatever, focusing on like grading news sites or something. I don't really know. I don't really have time either, unfortunately. Um, but I'll see what I can do. But I'm very mad about this. I'm very mad. It's not the trading. It isn't the trading. Okay, everybody can lose money on any given day, and you as a trader are not excused if you are being irresponsible. So I want to make that clear. That being said, I am very sympathetic for people that were caught off guard by this, lost months of their salary because of this. Um, for what? A clickbait article. Just that. That's it. How can you wake up? Like, how can you sleep at night making an article that's going to lose 10% of the entire market. Maybe that wasn't their full intent. I don't really know. I don't really care. That's the thing. I am tired of being tolerant about this. They should know. Okay? You are not getting anything, any response from these people, from the Block Coin Center, anybody. You're not getting any response for them because they don't care. They don't care. And I'm tired of caring about people that don't care. I'm tired of being sympathetic for them. Well, maybe they're just doing this or that. No, they're terrible people. Let's be honest with ourselves and start calling this out. Okay? I'm tired of tolerating the everyday life, okay? Like, I'm just tired of it. So we're gonna go through the motions here. We're gonna look at some articles. We're gonna compare. It's gonna be kind of a free for all. I'm not time stamping really anything. I'm just kind of going through this. Part of it is just because I'm so frustrated. This is a way for me to vent as well, so I apologize if this is out of my zone. And if you happen to like it, I don't know. I would like to just keep going after not I don't want to go after anybody. That's not my goal. But I see so much hypocrisy and lies and shady articles. It's all journalists and news sites. I'm so tired of it, okay? It it's close to home for me because I almost went into that field. I have all the education and expertise necessary to go in that field, and I chose not to because of how corrupt and stupid it is. They sell their souls. They do. And they'll do it to get a hot take and to get you riled up, to get you fighting your neighbors, to get you fighting against the rich or fighting against the poor or fighting against a race that's not yours, black, white, Asian, whatever. They try to do this to cause division because division creates engagement. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of creating engagement negatively like that. So I'm just going to kind of go through the motions. I think I'll just present them one at a time. I think I'm going to start with what happened today since that's most affected. It's affected most of you guys close to home, and then we'll just expand from there. All right, so first up is the block. This is the main event. I'm just going to do that first, and then as I go gravitate towards what happened yesterday, since that's kind of least affecting in the markets, although I do think it's even just as dangerous. Um, and again, this isn't necessarily trading things. This is just journalism things. So I'm going to go back and forth between reporting, journalism, research, and trading. So those are two different things: trading and then non-trading. I'm going to go back and forth. So this is not a trading video, just to keep in mind. And so this may be okay for you. This may not be okay, and that's fine. I'm not looking for engagement on this particular post. So, I'm just gonna share. This is a rant video, so I'm gonna share what I see, shares what's pissing me off, share what needs to be done, and share things that I will probably try to do in the long haul. We'll see. The thing is that this is a self-defeating thing. Um, you're not I'm not trying to go after anybody. That's not what I'm doing. But it's one of those things like I'm tired of the lies. We all are tired of the lies. We're tired of the shady things. I'm tired. I'm personally tired, and you are too, probably, of the play on words. And that's the thing right here. The block is not, they're not dumb people. Okay. These journalists are not dumb people for the most part. They know, they at least know the tricks of the trade for their niche. Okay, so they know how to word things to spark your anger, to cause you to react. And so that's what I'm going to talk about here. It's funny because their main article right here shows that NASDAQ is going to meet with the SEC today to discuss the Bitcoin ETF. Now, it's a very neutral post. This is kind of what you want. Funny enough, I am okay with this post. This doesn't say anything about approval. This doesn't say anything about denial. This is just sharing the facts. And what news articles should be doing is just sharing the facts. They should not be twisting them in their own words, and we'll get into the nuance of this because there is some things that are nuance. Now, it's also funny here. I'm just going to kind of go over this now that I'm kind of getting into it. You have their access media part here, and so what they do is they reference news, and this looks like it's more technical than news based, but they will see like they'll put they'll talk about who it is and the category, things like that. And so a lot of news places, and Coinbase does it, and Coinbase had an article right here, and this is a new one where ETF looks likely given. This is one that it doesn't have a timestamp because I got on reader mode. The ads are just too much. I have to have them on reader mode. This is one that's posted this morning. Okay, and it says there's a 98% chance of approval, um, and they got no problem reporting that. But like they have another one with what the Coin Center thing, and they reference. Oh, here it is. It's Cointelegraph. I'm sorry. Cointelegraph references Coin Center with the Jerry Burrito guy. Okay, and so he made that up. He made it up. Basically, he didn't have any references. I'm gonna post that towards the end of the video, but this is kind of a summarizing introduction. Like he made it up. He doesn't have verifiable data that it is the case. Yes, he linked a government website, but it was generic. It wasn't focused on what he was trying to say relative to the 2000 or the 10,000 crypto transactions. Okay? The rest of it was a screenshot. It was fear mongering. We'll get into that. But the thing is that once somebody like Jerry Burrito or Burrito, whatever the heck his name is, I don't even care. I stopped caring because these people stopped caring. They never did care. But they make an article, so then people like this is Cointelegraph, so they report on it, they link it, so that's called a backlink for those of you that don't really know how SEO writing works. So then they backlink. That's very good. When you get a backlink naturally, that's a very good thing. So people like Jerry Burrito like people like Cointelegraph because they link to him. And then, you know, he also likes that because they work together. They do. They work together. And so some of these sites, particularly the younger news sites, may not know better because they're just following how other people do. And so I get it. But you're not really standing out in that regard. You're not really doing anything to help. You're just causing more problems because the average person when they get online, they're going to see 20 articles that say the IRS new rules dictate that you are going to go to jail basically, and that's not true. It's all based off of one reference from a Jerry Burrito guy that was made up. Okay, basically made up. There's some nuances. I'll get into that, but that's the summary basically of what's going on. So let's go ahead and go back to the block here. Um, and so this this is a recent article. Right now this is only about an hour old, so or 2 hours or whatever. So it's their newest one. It's the front and center, right? So they put a neutral article on there. And they did that because this one that was released about 5 hours ago said SEC will reject all Bitcoin spot ETFs. Now, there's a few different things on here. Yeah, thanks, James Hunt, by the way. Idiot. You know, the wording on this is intentional. And I'll explain this because this is when it says the SEC will reject all Bitcoin, that is a future tense. That it's actually called perfect future tense. And so what that means is that this person, which is the Matrixport maxi pad analyst, whatever, he's basically saying is what the implication is that he has inside information that says they will reject. That's what that is. That is why, like when you present this in perfect future tense, you are telling I'm like if I was to say this in perfect future tense, I'm telling you that the SEC will reject it, and I know that they will reject it, and I am guaranteeing that they will reject it. Now, that may not have been the implication, or that may not have been what that was the implication, but they may not have, that may not be what they were saying. But then they, as far as the Matrixport guy, the Matrixport guy is a piece of garbage for sure, absolutely, and I'll get into that in a second. But the block definitely modified this to give that picture, that perfect future tense to illustrate that, hey, the SEC is going to reject it. And so you can also tell too is they added that to the beginning. Why couldn't they add it to the end? You know, instead, because if here's some examples. What they could have done to keep the same ferocity, but to tone down the extremities of this, to say Matrixport, I can't even say that freaking word. Matrixport believes that the SEC will reject Bitcoin ETF. That would have been much more neutral. You still would have had the potency of what you're trying to convey, and it wouldn't have been hostile to readers. Okay? If you flip that around, it would have made better sense. You still would have got your message across. But they wanted to put the word SEC up front, the acronym SEC up front, and then they wanted to add the perfect future tense word will. SEC will. Okay? That is a common phrasing, and I learned this in research and writing and everything else. Like, this is a common phrasing practice to invoke a guarantee. They know what they are doing, or there's a 1% chance they don't know what they're doing, and they all need to be fired from writing ever. Okay, this is a major drop of the ball. Now, you could argue that their intention wasn't for the whole market to go down 10% or even at all. And I think there's room to have that discussion. I do. But the problem is we need to hold people to a higher standard. Okay? This would be different if just some random person or even somebody like me was to make a post about the SEC rejecting it. And here's the thing, if I would actually post on Twitter and say, I know for a fact the SEC will reject the ETFs, and then the market goes down because of me, I'm going to get investigated. More than likely. So why won't these people? I know that these people won't. The FTX thing is already all quitted and done for. So there's not going to be no accountability. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed because it causes people to lose money, and it's also bad journalism. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the bad journalism. I'm tired of having to explain to my family and my friends, my dad is going to be 70 this year, and I'm trying to explain things to him that he doesn't make sense. And they don't make sense because people like this at the block try to twist words on purpose to confuse people, okay? This is why I got into crypto in the first place. Because when I was bankrupt, sitting in a courtroom, and my son 2 days old at the hospital a block away from me, I realized that, okay, yes, my financial situation was because of me. I was a bad practitioner or whatever of finances. At the same time, banks, credit unions, loan companies, credit cards, everybody they want you to fail. They want you to be uneducated. They want you to get that high interest loan. They want you to buy that house that's bigger than you need. They want you to buy the brand new Ferrari instead of the 2002 Honda Civic, okay? They want to put you in a position where you lose control, okay? Even things like taxes and bills, TurboTax, lobbied against easy reporting. Okay, my wife is from a different country, and in her country, they do taxes for them. Their country does taxes for them. We have to do our own, and if we get it wrong, we get penalized. I've been penalized before, and it was like a four-figure penalty because I got something wrong. It'd be nice if I got some help, but they don't want to give you help. They don't want to. It's by design. And the thing that pisses me off is because I joined the crypto niche or whatever you want to call it to try to get into financial freedom, to try to excel. All I want to do is to do my own thing, to raise my family, to support my family, and just to strive. And I can't do it because you got people like this that are trying to twist words. You got people like Jerry Burrito trying to twist words and try to fear monger you into something because they just want a hot take. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. And the thing is, most people are tired of it as well. They don't want to hear it. Okay, it's tiring. But anyway, this is the current article that's up for discussion. I rechecked it. I had saved it, and nothing has changed as far as I know. But the vernacular on this is very suspicious to me. And the thing is, who's Matrixport? First of all, that's a dumb name. Okay, nobody's heard of this. Nobody I know has heard of this. And then you go for your quick take. Matrixport analyst Marcus says that the Securities and Exchange Commission will likely reject all Bitcoin and ETF proposals this month. So, first of all, you said SEC will reject, says analyst. Now you got says will likely reject, says analyst. Well, you're lying. You're lying on your page right now. You're lying. It's as simple as that, okay? And the thing that pisses me off is I don't know what's worse, the fact that they're lying or the fact that they're not going to be accountable for this lie. And again, maybe their intention wasn't for the market to drop down 10%. But that's where people need to have a higher standard. They do. Okay? And then it goes on to say like he anticipates that it'll decline and kind of going into that a little bit. And so, and it even said like from Gensler, there's been far too much fraud and bad actors. Yeah, no duh. And you got two of them on the screen right now. You got Block and you got this Marcus guy. He's a problem. We'll get into that right after this. Somebody that nobody's ever heard of. Probably shorted the market at 45,000. And then he even goes to say it's bullish, and that's a common tactic too. Is like, oh, it's going up and down. But anyway, that's the main post. Let's take a look at this analyst guy. This was January 3rd, so I think that's today. Yeah, that's today. But this was posted on second. I don't know. I don't even freaking know. But it's like why the SEC will reject, and so that's the thing. Like this person or this report. So typically, it's probably not written by Marcus. So what's going on behind the scenes is he probably has a rough idea. So he probably owns the intellectual property, so to speak, of this, but he probably has a writer for it. I know because I've been both of those people. I've been the intellectual property guy, and I've also been the writer. So I know how this exchange kind of works. And so that's probably what's going on. But the thing is here with it doesn't make sense because Matrix on target has been bullish. Okay, and it could reach 45,000. We predicted early in the year that Bitcoin could reach 45,000 by Christmas. And so this is really freaking stupid already because it's like it could reach it. Well, Bitcoin could reach $1 million by Christmas. Oh, it didn't. Sorry. Oh, it did. Okay, great. What you're not telling me anything. You're not telling me anything. Okay? And it said if we expected the SEC requirements would be fulfilled, Bitcoin would rally towards $50,000 by the end of the year. Well, what does that even mean? Because going from 16,000 to 30,000 is going toward 50,000, but it's really far away. We didn't get close to 50,000. I mean, we still have the end of 2024, but you're not telling me anything. Okay, what's Bitcoin at right now? 42,000. So you're telling me like you're predicting that Bitcoin will reach $50,000 by the end of this year? Yeah, no duh. What are you trying to tell me? You ain't trying to tell me squat, okay? This is like my son trying to tell me he needs to go to bed. Everybody knows this. I don't understand that. That's not a prediction. Okay, it's nothing. So other than that, honestly, like some of the other things in this article aren't actually too bad. Like they're just I mean, they're not good or bad. They're just generic TA fluff, thinking that we're going to go to 36,000 if we go down. Why not just freaking say 37,000? Like why? This is bad writing practice, okay? And all this is financial fluff, and I'm really tired of it. A lot of this is financial fluff, trying to create things, even having words like dovish, which I know is a real word that people use in the markets. I'm just saying, like, they're going through the motions of what you want to hear to fluff this up, okay? And I guess, he did have his name on here, but I still think he probably got a rider on this. Typically they do, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that is the norm. That's just how it is. They usually have a ghostwriter. So I've been a ghostwriter. So I've been ghostwriter plenty of times. And so the yeah, a lot of the other stuff is kind of neutral or fluff, and I mean some of it isn't terrible necessarily, but outside the bounds. But this is the article that was referenced by the block to say that hey, we are going to go. So this and I made a tweet about this to say, like, I do, I think this person is a piece of garbage, but I do think it is actually the block's fault for the way that they presented this. You know, Nobody heard of Matrixport. Um, I don't know of anybody that really has any connections with them. I don't know anybody secondhand that has any connection with them. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep digging to figure that out. I'm gonna look at their staff. I'm gonna kind of research some of this stuff. But I thought this was interesting here at the bottom before I kind of switch because you have products. Why does a research company have products? And they're talking about earning. So now you're trying to earn. Do you have the licensing for this? Probably not, because guess what? They're probably not even in America. So now you have a whole nother thing on your hands. Why would you trust someone that allows, this is cheap. Like all this stuff, the infographics and stuff, you can make this in a day. Okay, there's frameworks out there for this. You're going to trust somebody to make a report when they have an app to take your money? I'm not talking about just like a regular fee. We'll get into that because they do offer fees, but you can just earn with them? No, you ain't getting a dime of my money. Uh-uh. This is super shady. And then this advanced stuff, I don't even know what this is. I try to click on it, it doesn't even work. So, what are you trying to tell me here? This is bogus. The layout of this is very fake. I'm not saying it is fake, but it's very cheap. It's a sign of immaturity. Okay, the writing on the article, like as far as the flow, not necessarily what they said, the flow is okay. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's mostly fluff. Okay, it's probably a sign of, you know, if there was a ghostwriter involved, they did okay. But for a financial research site, it's pretty bad. And the thing is, that's why I'm also leaning to the fact that I think the block is the one to, voice your concerns with because they picked Matrixport out for a reason to post what they did, to get you to react how they did, to get the markets to react how they did. And nobody cares. The thing that pisses me off is that there's no accountability. I have to have accountability for a $600 Venmo transaction, but these people can't be accountable for a 10% market drop within 8 hours. Get out of here. So anyway, this is I don't understand this because you can't click on this. I don't know what this is for. Like, why do you have a product that isn't a product? And first of all, you're kind of mixing in the wrong bag here. You shouldn't be doing an app, especially on your website. It's okay to have a subsidiary, I guess, but like you have this on your website from the article. I don't understand what's going on here. I mean, maybe this is more of a, you guys have an app, get out of here. Like I'm not I mean, maybe the blog part is just secondary. And that's the thing, nobody's heard of Matrixport. So I was like, why are we listening to them? It was, their main page is a app. Screw that. You know, it's on test flight, which actually means it's not even available on iPhones just yet. So it's already suspicious. Usually when you have and I used to be an iOS developer, so I know this. When you have a test flight app like this, and so Android, I know I have a lot of Android followers, and that's completely fine. But it's the easiest to onboard an app with. I could make an app within a day. I could post it. Excuse me. I could post it within a day. I can get approved probably within 3 days or less, probably closer to 24 to 30 hours. And then I could share it to you. And I say all that to say I'm saying it's completely neutral, but there's less accountability to upload an Android app because Google lets people to make their own decisions. Now that's good. Honestly, that is good because I can have more freedom of expression, and that's more related to free speech, things like that. But it also makes room for scammers, and that's the same with the crypto world, right? Like, they crypto lends itself to be more peer to peer, which means it's more open, and you have that freedom to make that money, but you also have more scrutiny, more attempts at scams, things like that. And so, um, test flight means that they have an app ready to go, but what you have to do is I won't touch this, but when you touch it, you get a QR code. You scan the QR code. You have to approve certain developer permissions, and so basically it's like an Android app on iOS. And the reason they're doing this probably it's one of two reasons. For a neutral reason, it would be because you are trying to test. Now, test flight is for testing apps, guaranteed. No, there's no question about that. The problem, however, is that why test flight is not designed necessarily to let the public involved. This is meant to do behind the scenes. This is for ad hoc. This is for those kind of things where you need to show this to a bunch of peers. It may be locked behind 2FA. I don't know. I'm not going to look. I ain't scanning any of their crap. I can tell you that right now. So that's the first reason. The second reason is because this is a way to bypass iOS permissions and say this is basically what we want you to download. Because if they actually push to iOS on the App Store, first of all, they got to pay a yearly fee. All developers, I had to do that to make apps, and and so that's what they would have to do. And so this bypasses the fee. You don't need a fee to get test flight, as far as I know, unless they've changed that. So, but the second thing is that it also allows them to be a little haphazard if they want to be on their apps. And so, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like the fact that your front page is telling me to download an app. I'm on the website. That's what the website is for. Okay? And so I guess there are product first. I don't know. But again, nothing wrong with that. But why are you sharing a blog to the block that causes a 10% move in the markets? And it's very suspicious. I think honestly, I think Matrixport is probably dead. And it doesn't even look like it was alive to begin with. So it's like, does this work? I guess that works. Sign up, welcome offer. See, I can tell based off of this. This is just one. This is just one layout. This isn't even a thing. Like the resolution isn't even good. And I got 4K resolution on my computer. Like, oh, watch on YouTube. I might do some more investigation here. And I'm going by the hip right now. So if you don't like it, you can fast forward or whatever. I'm just kind of playing this more for my sake. But this is, you got generic pictures here. The funny thing is, you got like Apple this. That's an older iPhone. That's an older iPhone. That's like an iPhone X. So you can tell like this is like an upsplash image. So why you got? Sorry, I didn't mean to click on the QRs, but like you have a test flight, but you got like Apple. Like, come on, man. Like this, it's not even consistent. Okay, and I already know how all this kind of goes. So capital management, see what that says. And the thing is, if you want to be a product, you can be a product. If you want to be a research company, be a research company. You can't really be both. It's very suspicious to be both, in my opinion. And the thing is like going to the daily insights here. And so typically, so here's a great example because you got the daily insights here, and then you got the weekly matrix on target. So this is a weekly news, daily news. And so I understand it's going to be different. It's going to have a different theme. It's going to have different people as well. But the timing on this couldn't be worse because for the daily insight, which was like 2 days ago, first of all, why are you posting on New Year's? But like they said that ETF approval is imminent and it will jump, Bitcoin to jump to 50,000. Now you're telling me it's going to reject the next day? What changed? What changed in the past, 24 hours? Probably nothing. Could have been a happenstance, could have been a bad coincidence, but I refuse to go down that road because people like this should know better. They don't because it's just a made up project with the made up people doing this. They don't have any accountability and they need to have when you're dealing with money, you should be having accountability. Okay, that includes me, that includes you, that includes them, includes everybody. Okay? If I try to I wonder if this is paywalled. No, it's not. So, I don't know. I don't see anything particularly wrong with this. Um, but then they reference it again. Explosive surge looms large in January. So they referenced it. They wrote it back before Christmas. Guarantee you they put this because things were going to go up and things look good, and that's very typical of a lot of influencers on Twitter as well, where they say, things look bullish, so I'm going to talk bullish, or things look bearish, I'm going to talk bearish. You know, And so it's like even the way that this is written, I'm kind of going off the hip here, but like a year ago, most participants were bearish and therefore underpositioned. However, things turned out differently. The way that this is written is very amateur. And I'm not criticizing anybody. Like everybody starts somewhere, okay? Everybody does. My first ever job was like cleaning litter off of parking lots. So I get it. Everybody starts somewhere. I'm not criticizing anybody. But this is not the type of writing that you want to see for someone from the block to report. See what I'm saying? So I'm very frustrated with this. So I don't know, I guess I got logged out of their thing. What else we got here? Derivatives trading. Really? I mean, you got licensing involved with this. What is this? Bit? Are they connected to Bit? What the heck is Bit? It's not Bybit. Let me see here. Bitblog. See, but they got the thing here, and so I've worked for companies that have done things like this. I used to work for a different project actually, where one of the guys had a research site, but also had his hands in other places. And I was a lower guy. Like I quit the job 2 months later. I had no involvement. Um, you know, I was brand new basically. And these people will do this. They'll create two or three companies. Nothing necessarily wrong with that, but like the thing is they'll insert their companies into other companies and so it'll make it look like they're big time. And so nobody cares about this and you can tell Marcus. It's like all the ones that are named are Marcus and there's a reason for that. Marcus, because this guy's in charge of this and he's trying to make a name for himself. Okay? Get some other people on board. You're not fooling anybody with this. Okay? I mean, sign up now. Like, is there, I don't know. I don't want to click on anything because I don't trust nothing. Maybe I can click on that from the news and see, but I might do it off the recording and just see if in case there's sensitive information. But yeah, get the app now. Yeah, no way. Ain't doing this. It little suspicious to me. So I'm gonna go into the tweet a little bit with this. Because I've already kind of beat this up just a little bit already as it is. But, he referenced this here. First of all, you got 10 research. So from what I've understood, the Matrixport has the products, and then Bit also is a product of it, is but not really. And so they reference each other, and it's really kind of shady. I actually looked on the LinkedIn and all this stuff because they have like a career. It's funny because you can actually tell a lot about the job postings, and they have a lot of job postings in Kuala Lumpur, and typically because they can pay people less, things like that, and they have talent acquisitions instead of actual managers. It's very suspicious to me. That's not necessarily fraudulent. It's just a little bit strange that a company that nobody's heard of would just start dishing out like recruiters instead of actually just doing it from scratch. Like just kind of home brewing a process or what have you, right? And so that's what a normal project would do. That's what a successful one should do. So anyway, it's not wrong, but typically that's the more artificial approach, is what I'm trying to say. And so I've worked with a lot of projects that have tried to do it the very natural way to get people naturally to engage naturally. And I've had other people say, "Hey, here's $20,000. Spend as much as you need to do airdrops, to do ads, whatever you need." Like they don't want it done clean or natural. They want it done. They want to artificially inject themselves as fast as possible. And I've always told people not to do that, because that's a really good short term thing, but it's a really bad long term thing. And so I just want to keep that in mind. But he mentioned this here, and then Eric from the Bloomberg, he referenced the rejection prediction, and he's asking if he based it off anything, and he basically says no. My report is not based off issue or insider comments. So, the thing is, he can't say that anyway, because if he tried to say he has insider information, well, he's going to jail, right? But so this is purely his opinion, and that, hey, you are welcome to your opinion. I don't have a problem with that. He even says I do think the SEC will vote it. Yeah, they'll vote it down. I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that statement in particular. I do have the problem with how it was presented and how it was brought up in the context of the block. And so that's also another reason why I think the block is the one to blame for this. And he says after I've been the biggest bull all year, I turned bearish today, but the arguments were ready. Not necessarily. You flipped completely from like rewind the video. I exited out, but yesterday your company said that $50,000 was imminent. Not even 24 hours later, now you're saying we're going to reject. No, you're a piece of garbage. You're a piece of garbage. You know, it your statements are not worth anything to me. Okay? I don't have anything wrong with what he has said in particular for some things, but the manner of which it's presented is saying I know better than you. I've always known better than you. Well, when you partner with the block, and I mentioned this, um, you know, I I posted this. I followed orangutan for a while. Oh, here it is. I replied to what he said and said, Hey, you literally lied. You because he did. He's just saying it's not based off anything, but then you are telling me on the block that it is rejected. Well, how do you know? You don't know. Just made it up. Okay. And it's funny because he does have a book called Crypto Titans. I won't link it because of sensitivity issues, but like or as far as sensitive information, I should say. But like it focuses on historical events in crypto history where people have lost money. That's pretty convenient. Again, I'm not saying like I do think I'm thinking too deep into this in some aspects, but I've presented this like someone in his position. I'm not saying he did this, but someone in his position could just claim 45,000, short the market, partner with the block to fud it, and then make extra money on that. And technically, I could be an a hole and say it actually didn't get to 45 by Christmas. It got to 44. So anyway, but the thing is too is like so I looked at this, but also another thing that's really cheap. I blocked this guy for I don't even know why. He's been blocked for some time. Anyway, so you have his research company. It's got his picture on it, right? And got his picture on it. How cheesy is that? You mean to tell me that you have products and services, you have a partner company that's actually an exchange, apparently. You have products and services that do earning like that basically do crypto earns, and you can't even get a new profile picture. He actually changed his name about a month ago. He used to be called DeFi on Target, and whatever that was supposed to mean. And it's easy to do these in various things because anybody can make a prediction or whatever and then just delete it if it's wrong, right? So it's easy to do. I'm not saying he did that, but a lot of suspicious activity to me, a lot of um little shady to me. Again, this lends itself, I'm not saying anybody has like it lends itself, I should say, to where people need to be held accountable. Okay, there may not have been, and it starts with the block. There may not have been a partnership. I don't know, but the block needs to be put under the burner, and they need to be held accountable to what's going on because this has caused a 10% drop in the market. I also want to mention Larry Cermak, which is also the CEO of the block, and so like the block is, I don't know, I'm exhausted already, but the block is a very bad company. And Larry is a guy that I don't like. I'm pretty sure I've already have him blocked. He blocks other people, as you know. You know, I know this guy. I'm not familiar with him, but I've seen him around. I don't follow him. Mention these things. Bought my first Bitcoin in 2011. I've seen this recirculate before. Then it's 2012. Then it's 2014. Then it's went back to 2012. So I've never owned large amounts. Never owned crypto in my life. I've owned a lot in the past. He modifies himself. His name is Lawmaster, for crying out loud. So this is what you got to work with. Scammers, maybe, but definitely shady people. Definitely people I don't want to network with. Definitely people I don't want to get along with. You cannot pay me $1 billion to work with this guy for a day. Okay? There's just some things where I don't cross, and that's one of the lines I don't cross. Before I get to the Jerry Burrito thing again, I'm gonna mention just some of the things that have been going on. So like, you just type in crypto news, like you get various things, right? Like Bitcoin prices dropped, you need to hedge, you know. And I this probably needs to be another video because sometimes it's based off the wording. I understand it is tricky, but again, it is designed to trick you. So they need to be held accountable for how they mention these things. You know, CoinDesk has mentioned, like I said earlier, very likely given the bureaucrats SEC steps. Now, this is a little more like what you should have a title. You know, looks very. I mean, this is healthy. It presents a positive outlook. It conveys what they're trying to say, and it it gets the message out, right? It shares to the reader what they want to share without, freaking them out. See what I'm saying? And so another one, this is investors.com. Crypto plays tumble ahead of imminent spot Bitcoin ETF approval. And so this is really strange to me. So for numerous reasons. First of all, the crypto plays tumble ahead of it. The first part is fine. That's just a play on words. It's catchy. Again, it conveys your message. But the second part, imminent spot Bitcoin approval. And so, not exactly the word choice that I would use. It also kind of it doesn't really work as far because like we don't know that it's imminent. I mean, is it more than likely? Yes. But again, when you're telling people that something is imminent, I mean, you're not telling them to buy, but you almost kind of are. See what I'm saying? So anyway, but the markets did fall with the stocks too, so that could be playing into it. So another generic crypto news. I was just kind of covering this. That's the one that has your bets. Spot ETF approvals to be rejected by 8 SEC Matrixport or Matrixport. I can't say. It's just a freaking dumb name. I'm so tired of it. Okay, this is my redneck coming out. Like I can't say these hard words. It's just a really dumb word. So anyway, this is a little bit better, but not really. This is just as bad in my opinion. Because when you got something like the block, and I don't know when that posted. Um, Let me just go here. Here it is. So this was posted. Was it 7:20 a.m. So like 6 hours ago. Okay, so you had that right, and then so that was like six. Let's just say seven. Anywhere between 5 to 7. And then you got CoinDesk doing it at 5. And so here's what happens, and this is going to go into the Jerry Burrito thing. When you have somebody saying something, it doesn't matter what it is, but let's say so this Marcus guy, he says something. Whether he partnered with the block or not doesn't matter. The block picks it up. Okay, they say it. Again, Block is a really crappy known brand, but it's still a known brand. So when they post about it, someone else is going to post about it. And so CoinDesk picks it up. Okay, so you may not read the block, but you might read CoinDesk. And the thing is, people will naturally see, okay, maybe most, I'd say roughly half the people on a reputable, as far as a recognized brand, it doesn't even have to be reputable anymore, but like most people will believe anything that CoinDesk says, and that's the problem. Is because they need to be held accountable too. This is not sufficient to me. This is not sufficient. CoinDesk needs to do better. Okay, I like CoinDesk, but they need to do better. That's dangerous as well. In fact, that's even almost more so. I mean, they did reference the thing here, but again, they should put it at the front. I know that that's not a good way to convey the message, but you have to, okay? Otherwise, you are trying to invoke drama. You're trying to invoke people to be scared or shaken by what you're trying to say. And now that the block has posted basically the same thing as CoinDesk, now you have two frame of references that show this quote unquote rejection that never happened. Never happened. Now, Cointelegraph, this is a much better title. This happened, and you can also say that this happened less than an hour ago. Likely rejection or smooth sailing. Experts weigh in. And so I like this for numerous reasons. One, and I'll also get into why it's still bad. I like this for numerous reasons. One, they add this first. They add the question first to get you to speculate. So you can speculate without having to cause action. So if I see a tweet or an article that says the SEC will reject the ETF, then I know that that's a bad sign. Now, if I see, is it going to be a rejection or are we going to do okay? Question mark. A little bit better, more neutral, still conveys the message. Experts weigh in. I do question the experts route, but I'm not going to go there. Weigh in on potential spot BTF. And so that's much more of a healthy message. I'm completely okay with that. And then they actually reference it 10x research. It's like, what a dumb name. But the problem with this is an acceptable title. The problem with this is that it was an hour ago or less. It's way too freaking late. The damage has been done, and so Cointelegraph is trying to rewrite the history of what's happened earlier today because they know a month down the road this article is going to matter more and say, "Hey, we didn't say nothing. We didn't say nothing at all." So as you kind of go into Cointelegraph, like I said, this is a decent example. This is a really good example. A couple hours ago, again, it's a little too late. The damage has already been done, and they're putting out the fires. That's all they do. Again, that's what PR companies do. Now, I also want to bring your attention. This is a little bit added to this, and this video is longer than I want, but that's fine. I might cut out the Jerry Burrito thing, and it's very quick anyway, so maybe I'll just keep it. But I like this one. This one's very interesting. Bitcoin ETF did not cause the 8% crash. First of all, it was 10%. It wasn't 8%. So it may have been 80% of the time. But it's like a new report saying that it will reject. Anyway, the reference is a lawyer. Well, what's the lawyer? Well, the lawyer I referenced is, where is he at here? I got to go back to the reader on this. So I'm a little slow with this, but here it is. Joe Carousel or whatever his name is. And so you post that, it goes to a tweet, basically just almost saying exactly what it says here. There were some extras, but this is the context. It sold off because nothing goes a straight line. Well, yeah, no, duh, nothing goes up in a straight line. Everybody knows that, okay? But this is lawyer vernacular, okay? They're trying to use something that is valid in one sense to justify the whole thing, and it's not. The truth is, companies like Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, The Block, and everybody else daisy chain this stuff together to cause a bomb, basically. And so now that the damage is done, everybody, including Cointelegraph, is trying to do PR fires, things like that. And so this is how it works. This is where the manipulation starts. There is a small chance that some of this could be coincidental. Certainly, and the reason I say that in particular is because there were a lot of liquidations. But it could also be like, hey, we know there's some liquidations, so hey, let's go ahead and try to do a long squeeze, try to force something. There's many things. The problem is that there's too many things to look at, and so there's too much room for vague interpretations on every side. And so my issue is I'm not trying to sit here and say that my side is right per se, but everything is suspicious from beginning to end. Okay, and even if it wasn't, news sites need to do due diligence. Okay, I am very hard pressed to believe like the Block and CoinDesk both put main page articles saying that the SEC will reject the ETF. And within 30 minutes, the market crashed. Okay? We could say that it's a coincidence. I wouldn't necessarily even argue that the market could be weak. I disagree, but there is open to some flexibility. The market was looking pretty strong. It really was. And so the thing is the market is a little bit sensitive to the ETF. I think everybody is. I think that that's reasonable, although I don't personally think that's a good idea. I think it is a reasonable idea. That combined with the liquidations, and so there's other things at play. Do I think that they had it planned to tank the market 10%? No, I don't think so. I would like not to think so, but let's stop pretending that they're stupid, okay? These news sites, they're not stupid at all. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So anyway, I'll kind of digress from that. Um, I want to go to the IRS thing just a little bit because very briefly, you know, they said they're going to report data for $10,000 transactions for crypto. And basically the big thing is according to Coin Center, Jerry Brito or whatever. So they reference that. He references a tweet. Um, but again, there's no resources on it. There's just a screenshot. He does mention one, like, he does have a link to his article, which has a link to the SEC website or whatever, but it doesn't, it's just a generic link. There's nothing. And so the thing is, Cointelegraph and CoinDesk and all these people, Bloomberg, I think, even got involved. Like, they reference these things. And so some of them are good. Some of the links are like the titles in particular, right? Because they rely on people not reading the articles, and so some of the titles are good, some of them are not good, but overall, I think they've handled it very badly as well. But you get the idea. I don't want to go through it now because I've spent too long on this video already, and it's basically just going through the same thing, through the same titles. Some of them are suspiciously typed in a way to convey you to fear. Okay, and so I say all this to say, I'm looking at some of these other markets, but because somebody said this is correlated to the Russell 2000, that stupid guy, but like just because it goes down one day doesn't mean it's correlated. I'm so tired of that drum. I'm so tired of it. But anyway, that's pretty much the update. I hope that you're being safe. Don't listen to these crap companies. The thing is like I know a lot of you don't listen to these, and you still are affected because of other people that just want to cause problems, and it really pisses me off. It really, really, really pisses me off. That we just can't have anything. We just can't have anything anymore. I am. I you can't just walk around in society anymore. You can't be. You can't just have a normal family. You can't just do anything traditionally anymore. You always got to have strife. You always got to have the government up your rear end. You always got to have problems, this and that. Like, why can't I just live life? Okay, and the last thing I need is crypto to get involved and to cause problems. And it's it's one thing if it comes from legacy markets. Okay, it's one thing if Wall Street is being Wall Street, but now crypto is starting to act like Wall Street, and it's very disappointing to me. I've said this a few times now in the past year and a half that this is going to be my last cycle. I think this is more than likely the case, because I don't want to do this anymore. I don't. Okay, I'm smart enough to trade on my own. I can. I'm not saying I enjoy working with people. I enjoy working with you all. So it's not about that. It's just I'm tired of the back and forth drama, tired of the regulations, and they rely on that. They want to beat you up. They want to. I've seen so many people come and go. I've seen people that got mental therapy because of what they've been through. I've seen relationships destroyed. I've seen tons of things, good and bad, ugly. I've seen it all. And I'm surprised I've actually stayed around this long. But the thing is, they want to pulverize you. They want to pulverize you. They don't want to give your money back from FTX. Do you realize that Binance got in trouble and SBF didn't? What's up with that? See what I'm saying? The transactions for the wallets, all this stuff. I'm not trying to fear monger anybody here. But I do want to say we all know that everything's tightening up, and so they know, everybody knows that people are going to be more fearful as a result. And so now is not the time to be fearful. Now is the time to stand. And yes, you gotta make decisions on your own. Like some of you, like I said, I'm a family man. Some of you guys are not. Some of you guys are 22 years old, single. You got money to spare. You have a different layout than I do. And that's completely fine. But anyway, I'll digress. I've already talked for so long. Be safe out there. Be in control of your money management. Um, and don't give up. I know it's easy to give up. I've tried to give up actually years ago, and I know that I can't give up because there is no other option. There would have, if there was, I would have already found one. Okay, the only other option is to make like $500,000 a year minimum or whatever for the rest of your life. Like pensions are going away, retirements are going away, social security benefits are dying. Okay, work benefits are dying. Inflation is causing problems. Housing market's gone up. The real, the car market has gone up. It's fluctuating. There's so many things, okay? And I'm tired of it. You guys are tired of it. We're all tired of it. And most of us just want to live properly. Most of us don't want fancy cars. We would like fancy cars, of course, but most of us would be relatively okay without one. And that's the thing. You know, people, they go to their vices. They watch too much sports or too much Netflix or video games or gambling, or they have all the drinking or whatever, and they do this because their life sucks. Or they're just trying, not even that their life sucks, they're just trying to escape the life. And they wouldn't even be doing these things if they were able to get their lives in order, but there are people above them that are making this very difficult. And so this is not for the faint of heart. And so this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm making this video. If you've been here to the end, I really thank you for this. But I'm doing it because the truth matters to me. And there is some nuance, okay? I agree with that. And so we don't exactly know everything that's gone down, everything that hasn't. But what I am trying to say is there are people that need to be held accountable. It's one thing if some guy with 50 followers says the SEC will reject it. I know it is. But it's another thing for prominent news sites to lead with this, and then you don't get an apology. You don't get anything because they care more about their reputation than anybody. They don't care about you. They don't care about your money. They care about their representation or reputation, and that's all it is. It's sad to see. I made a market update earlier before this video. I'm gonna make another one maybe around daily close. I think the markets are pretty much destroyed for today. And so I'll do another one later tonight. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I apologize if it's too long. You can probably already tell I'm already tired, but this is disappointing to me. And my hope and my prayer is that these things get changed. All right, thanks.